Hello, my lovelies. Good time, Mama Jojo here, aka Joking, from the London Academy of Burlesque and from my front room. Coming here to talk to you just about a few little stories that people have asked to hear. So, quite a few people have asked to hear how I got into burlesque. And so, if you've never heard it before, sit down, grab yourself a glass of wine or a cup of tea, and I'll tell you. I was 19, I was in between jobs, and I saw an advert for waitresses at a private members club. It was a luncheon club. It actually did run in the evenings, but they were opening up the luncheon club as a new thing. So I went along and I was very lucky, got the job. And when I started, I had absolutely no idea what I would be doing other than serving food. The club used to open around 11 o'clock for us to come in, and then we would open to the customers about midday. And then it would stay open really till about 4 or 5, depending on when the last person left, because it being a private members club in those days, a lot of men used to go there to entertain their clients to do business deals. And that was where I saw my first burlesque performer. I had seen a stripper before in a pub a good year and a half, 2 years beforehand, but I had never seen burlesque performers before. And this club, they had a burlesque performer every hour, one an hour. And the performances in those days were about somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes long per performance. The girls used to usually perform to about 3 tracks. And the first track would be a case of them creating the story and dancing around, or doing, not all of them were dancers, but doing whatever theatrical thing they wanted to do. The second track would normally be with them removing some clothing. Third track, they were usually down to underwear that time. I mean, strangely enough, it was in Westminster and it was full nudity. So I don't know what the licensing laws were then, but by the halfway through the third track, usually the bra or whatever they were wearing, corset would come off. And by the end of the last track, literally a few seconds, 30 seconds maybe, before the end of the last track, they would remove their G-string or their knickers or whatever they were wearing on the bottom half of their anatomy. And a lot of them were really theatrical, great showgirls. Some of them were amazing dancers. Some of them were brilliant acrobats. But that can all wait for other stories and other videos. So one day there was a customer that used to come in quite frequently. His name was Philip. He looked like the nutty professor, the mad professor out of Back to the Future. A lot like him. He was very, very lovely. And one day, one of the dancers, one of the burlesque performers didn't turn up. And Philip turned to me and said, well, you know, go on, Joe, why don't you get up there? Now, I was 19 and cocky, so I said, you dirty old man, you just want to see my tits. And he was, yeah, but why don't you? And I went, well, put your money where your mouth is. And I went off back to the kitchen, thinking nothing more of it, really. Like my necklace, my daughter bought it for me. So I came out, and Nico, who worked behind the bar, had given Philip a pewter chankard? No, not a chankard, a tankard. Close. And Philip had put some money in it, and he had personally gone to the other customers in the place. There were 8 of them all together, including him, and they all put money in. And then when I came out, he said, there you are. And he called my bluff, and I was like, shit. So I went to Tom, the DJ, and I went, Tom, what do I do? And he went, oh, it's easy. You just get up on the stage, dance, and take your clothes off. Obviously, Tom had never done it. Anyway, somebody lent me some shoes because I wasn't wearing high heels. One of the girls lent me some shoes. One of the dancers, they all stayed to watch, the people that were around. And I was just wearing kind of a skirt and a shirt and bra and knickers. To this day, I don't really remember precisely what I did. I chose my 3 tracks. I used to love dancing. I was always a pretty good dancer, you know, kind of disco dancing. And that's really what I did. I always say I think my clothes fell off through sheer exhaustion. I don't think I actually took them off at all. But first track, I still had most of my clothing on. Second track, I started to take my clothes off. And all I remember is by the end of the third track, I still had my knickers on, which wasn't what you were meant to do. And I remember just going, oh, and stepping out of them really ungainly and kind of going, thank you, and going off the stage, and everybody went mad. I mean, all the people came out of the kitchen and the bar staff were all watching. It wasn't a huge place, but you know, there was enough people there. And I went into the dressing room and I was really shaking because I didn't know that you had that kind of reaction sometimes. I didn't realise that that was the high that you get actually from performing. It wasn't nerves at all. And I looked in the tankard because I hadn't looked until then, and there was 80 quid in the tankard. They'd all put a tenner in each. And I didn't earn very often. I didn't earn 80 quid sometimes in a week because we worked just for tips. And although that isn't the kind of money you would normally make performing, because the girls used to get between £6 and £10 a spot, that 20 minutes as a spot, I just kind of thought, maybe I could do this. And literally, I would say I fell into it sideways. That's how it started. I carried on waitressing for a while, but then somebody advised me to audition at another club, an evening club, and I did. And slowly, I built up my repertoire and a very good reputation because I worked very hard and I was very young and I was kind of cute. And the customers liked me. And so there you are. That's how I started in burlesque. See you again. So just remember, stay safe and stay sexy. Bye.